All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Tech Talk on Valley View Radio 97.7. I am your host, Mavis. For today's discussion, we are looking at Googling our health and our symptoms. Right. I know most of us have done something like that before, but today I'm going to look at how to actually, do it and then get the right results or the results that we want. And also, we're going to look at what we can and what we cannot, or what is not advisable to search on the internet about your health or your symptoms. Right. So with me here, I have patients from the nursing department, right? Yeah, and then I also have Shadrach and Deborah with me. They'll be my panel to help me or to help us, yes, with today's discussion on Googling your health and symptoms. We've all heard about Googling, right? So yes, today we are going to be talking about it. We'll find out whether Googling is, we are here. They'll help you with today's discussion. So right away, let's get to the questions for today's discussion. Yes. So when we say Googling, okay, Googling, is it a verb? Is it a recognizable word, or is just something that people have come up with?
I think I think that it's as technology started to increase, it's something that has become very common for all of us to do. Whatever problems that we face, whatever things that are bothering us, no matter the aspects of life, we actually tend to take our phones and then start to Google them. So I think it's something which came up due to the increase of knowledge and the internet.
Wow. Wow. Okay. So what does it mean to Google's one's symptoms and health? One's health or one's symptoms? What does it mean?
Okay, so when we talk about Googling your symptoms and about your health, it means people normally take their phones, input whatever they are feeling into it, and then they want to search for it. So in our normal terms, we say we are searching for it. Something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Page. Sorry, Deborah. What does it mean when you say one person or someone is Googling their health or their symptoms?
At times we feel we are not well,
Mhm.
and the first thing you don't want to do is to go to the hospital. And so to kind of escape going to the hospital, we want to know what exactly is wrong with us so that we can put our own measures in place. I think that's basically what it's about.
Yeah, Shadrach, let's hear from you. You've been quiet since you started.
Okay, to add up to what they said, they've said it all.
Mhm.
So with this Googling of our health too, what actually happened basically, you'll be there, for instance, I'm an example, I will be feeling this sudden feeling I've not been expecting all this while. So I just take my phone, instead of me taking a car going here and up and down, queue at the hospital, then let me see what is wrong with me from Google. Oh, I'm having this headache. So what am I getting from Google? Yes,
Dr. Google.
Dr. Google, yeah.
Okay.
So you just do that to know what is actually wrong with you. So that is what is meant by Googling your health or symptom. Yeah.
Wow. So when you do that, is it actually good? I mean, what are the aftermath of Googling your symptoms? What's the outcome?
Okay, so these search engines normally it will give you everything you want to know about whatever you typed in there. So definitely there would be an information you would get.
Okay.
Yeah, there will be information about everything you've covered in there. But as to whether it's right or not, we'll talk here.
Okay, that's nice. Debbie.
Yeah, just like patient said,
Mm-hmm.
when you Google, you get all the information that you want. But the problem is that will the information help you or will it make you even much more scared?
Mm.
Yeah, so I think that's also some of the things that we face when we Google for our symptoms or even things about health.
Wow. So let's say, as you said, as patient said, right, there's so much information that you get. So how I mean, aren't we prone to making the wrong decisions because there's so much information and maybe you're not sure which one is good, which one is right, or what to do with it?
Okay, most of the times, one problem with this Googling,
Mm-hmm.
what it brings about is what you just made mention of. Because you are just having, as I used headache as an example.
Yeah.
When you talk of headache, and let's say you are going to search for your signs and symptoms, maybe your signs and symptoms may be that of a different case. Maybe yours isn't what you are looking for.
Mm.
But once you enter into the platform and you start searching on these symptoms, you get different things that will even scare you.
Mm.
So maybe at the end of the day, people who actually do that
You
end up
come
scaring
to die
them.
in 3 months.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You see that after searching, you see this eye clear mode.
Mm.
Like the person will feel like the person is more of, fierce. The
Yeah.
person will become anxious
Mm.
because if the person would have went to the hospital, the level of anxiousness wouldn't have been as the person found on the Google.
True.
Yes, because the Google entails a lot, and they don't
Mm.
know what actually you are trying to mean. You are just
Mhm.
talking about your symptoms in general,
Yeah.
and there are so many conditions we can find your symptoms in. So
Mm.
those conditions will pop up, and that will bring the fears and anxiety.
Yeah. So let me ask: are there situations where, like, the person will, let's say, after some time, the person will now go to the hospital and be like, when I searched online, this, and I mean, have there been any reports? Not like, yeah, reports from doctors that were like, why didn't you come here instead of, you know, searching online?
Personally, I've not encountered such, but I think it's something which would be happening
Mm.
because people would just search and what they see is so scary that it would just force them to go to the hospital. Then they will go to the hospital and end up realizing that it was so far from what was happening. So
Mm.
maybe you're having a headache, you go and Google it, and based on whichever site you went to, it will be as though you are having some brain problem or
Mm.
brain bleeding. You'll be so scared and go to the hospital. You go and then you realize that maybe you just have malaria or something.
Auntie.
So
Wow.
yeah, it's good to Google
Mhm.
because we want to know what's wrong. We have so much information around us, and so we want to know more about what is happening to us. But if you're not careful, you get the wrong information.
Wow. So, on that note, what is it okay to, search for, and what isn't okay to search for?
Normally, it's okay to search for information. There's nothing wrong,
Okay.
but it depends on where you are searching them from.
Where?
Yeah,
All right.
because these some of these sites are just people ideas, not from professionals or experts. They are just people
Mm.
ideas that they put in there.
Wow.
For example, I can subscribe to Wikipedia and then I'll put in my knowledge about certain things or about certain
Mm.
disease I know in there.
Wow.
So you would go and search and then my knowledge would pop up. I'm just a mere person, not a doctor, nothing.
Mm.
So you would follow my ideas pertaining to what I've learned. So that is what you are going to follow,
Wow.
which is wrong. So normally, if you want to search for information, you would have to go to a proper site, credible site for those information.
Wow.
And then even with that, it just guides you. It gives you the fair idea of whatever you are going through. For there to be a diagnosis, you'd have to visit the hospital and then we'll do a diagnostic test and then we'll now confirm that yes, this is what you are going through or that's
Wow.
so.
Shadrach.
Okay, one thing I've also heard and read about is most of the times people who do this Googling, they end up even getting a new sickness of their own sort.
Hey.
Yes. For instance, you are just showing some signs. For instance, let me use this disease everybody's afraid of,
Mm.
AIDS.
Hey.
To talk of AIDS, we have this symptom we call persistent cough. Maybe yours is not HIV or whatever, but you have been coughing persistently. You
Mm.
just checked, let's say you just enter Google, a person with persistent cough, what is likely to happen to the person,
Yeah.
and is pops up. Then you don't feel like even going to the
Like
hospital.
we am crab
Yes.
show.
Hey, what did I do?
Hey.
What have I called upon myself? Definitely your blood pressure will go high. You'll be overthinking. Meanwhile, maybe that is not it. That is not it. And maybe some drugs to those cough can be as a result of side effects. You don't know.
True.
Then you'll be there overthinking.
Hey.
So as you overthink, you get a new issue of yes. So what she said was very right. Like we have reliable sources you can get all this information from. For the reliable sources, before one can publish his or her work or findings there, it should go under review for researchers to see the reliability and the validity of whatever it is being published. We don't just wake up like Wikipedia and other. We are not condemning Wikipedia, though. But what I'm trying to say is that we just can't wake up and just post things there. Yes, but for the accredited parts, it has been vetted by health professionals. So when you go there, and I mean, you are finding something, you know that oh, for this one, it is vetted and it has been approved. Unlike the other ones, anybody in the house or at the corner can just wake up and
But you know
upload.
that even there are some websites that they are written in pidgin.
Yeah.
How about this ones? Oh, we'll look at those ones later, right?
Yes.
Okay. Deborah, what and what can we and can we not search?
Okay, so with search, one thing that I think we should really get more information from the hospital about is a treatment. So if you are to take in a drug or they have given you a drug or you've even gotten sick and you search for the treatment for that sickness, sometimes what they give you online is just the mere medication. They won't add, we have something called dosage, which is the amount you're supposed to be given based on your weight, based on different
age.
factors. Yes. So if you just go and you find a medication and you think that is the disease that you are having and you go and buy it and take it, that's wrong. So the best thing to do is if you are going through some symptoms or you have a problem with your health, fine, you can Google for more information, but not necessarily to rely on it. It's better you get valid information from the hospital because I think going to the hospital isn't just about you going for treatment. You can go and just to ask the doctor about something which is wrong with you, or you meet health worker there, you ask the person. I think that person can even give you much more reliable information than just what you'd find anywhere on the internet.
Okay, so what? Oh, you want to ask something?
Yeah, I wanted to add this. So, pertaining to what she's saying, treatment is something you shouldn't search for because medication and all of those things, it's individualized. So, certain things you can search for is preventive measures. So, you can search for preventive measures.
Wow.
So, for that one, you're just preventing it.
So, for example, how to prevent cholera,
good.
or maybe to prevent headaches and
Good.
stuff like that.
Enough rest, those things. It wouldn't cause you any harm.
True.
You get it. It wouldn't cause you any harm. So for preventive measures, you can search for them. But for treatment, diagnosis, no. We shouldn't.
So let's say I have headache, I have sore eye, and I have something. That one is not, it's not good to do that. I see.
Yeah.
Wow. Nice. So if you want to search for something, what are some of the questions we should ask ourselves before we proceed to search?
If you want to proceed in searching for something, you should bear in mind that this thing I'm searching is just a mere view of whatever I'm going through.
Mhm.
Hence, I would visit the hospital before I visit. It's just supposed to give me a clue about whatever I'm going through.
Okay.
This thing we are talking about has happened to me before. I was feeling indigestion and all of that. I said, "Oh, myocardial infarction."
Hey, the name alone cry.
Charlie, I'm like, myocardial infarction, like how? Hey, I'm coming to die. Because pertaining to the heart, it's risky.
Mm.
Only for me to go to the hospital and then they are telling me that, oh, it's just indigestion. So these things we are talking about, it's very risky because you can get depressed.
Mm.
Yeah, you can get depressed.
Which might even be worse than the actual
This
same thing, the actual thing you're
thing
going
you're
through.
Yes,
you're
I,
going
Wow.
through, yeah. So
Shadrach, you
yeah.
want to add
So
something?
most of the times too, what I've to from my own point of view, what I would say is that most people do this. They're searching before even going to the hospital
Mm.
to belittle their physician's
It's
idea. Yeah,
true.
they want to test. Oh, this physician. I've heard there's a new
Wabong,
physician.
wabong.
Let me see. Meanwhile, as my sisters here rightly said,
Mm.
each and everyone has his own way or the way we will, diagnose the person
Yeah.
and give the person an appropriate treatment. We may all suffer from the same illness, but maybe when we go to the hospital, due to some factors, the rate or the drugs I'll be taking will be different from what she will be taking and that of hers
Yeah.
due to some factors. So I just can't stay at my corner, just search and see that, oh, for headache, paracetamol is key. Let me take paracetamol. How
Mm.
much are you going to take?
It's true.
You don't know.
Some people take like three
You
Yeah.
don't know
at
because,
a go.
but you should go to the hospital after the doctor has, reviewed you, assessed you very well.
Mm.
The doctor, in his own discretion, will give you the appropriate dosage you are supposed to take.
Yeah.
But people
And
just
sometimes I feel like there are some things that are unique to some people. So because of those reasons, the treatments
yes,
will change. For example, they ask you maybe, are you asthmatic? Do you have this kind of chronic
even
diseases or
sometimes they
something?
go to the extent of asking of any allergies because
Mm.
maybe in the drug, the composition, there are some substances they use. Maybe you might be allergic to. You don't know. You
Yeah.
just be there. You are there at your house. You just pick your phone, Google. Meanwhile, you don't know whether you are allergic to it or not. You
Wow.
just go and buy this drug. Then you see that you are now reacting to it, which is a different issue altogether. Now you'll be tempted to go to the hospital. Meanwhile, you've harmed yourself before even going to the hospital. So it is best we are not stopping this search. No, you can search, but go to the hospital and discuss with your physician. This is what
Mm.
I found. And
Okay.
per your assessment, what are you seeing?
Right.
Is it the same thing or is there changes? And what are the new ways so that you get to know?
Wow. That means our doctors are very important.
Yes.
Right. We'll be back after a short break. Googling our health or our symptoms is not entirely bad. We want to look at how to get good results or results that are okay from our search, if you are going to search at all.
Okay, so when you want to get good information, the first thing you have to do is get reliable sources.
Okay.
And somebody would ask, what are these reliable sources
Exactly.
actually? So we have some medically approved, or should I say, websites which are kind of managed by medical practitioners, and they review it day in and day out. So you are sure that the information that you are getting there is credible.
Yeah.
We have websites like PubMed.
PubMed.
Yeah.
Can you spell it?
PUBMED.
All
Yes,
right.
PubMed.
Okay.
Then we also have Medscape. Some of these websites, they even go to the extent of you having to subscribe to them
Yeah.
before you actually get the information. You can also get information from article journals of like medical associations, CDC,
Yeah.
CDC, Center.
Center for Disease
Disease
Control.
control.
Yeah. So for some places like that, you know that you are getting right information. World Health Organization.
Yeah.
We also have Medline.
Medline.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I'm sure they know others. These are some of the places where you are sure you're getting reliable information. Of course, because medical treatments differ in countries. Some of the drugs they may be using in the country of these websites, like maybe US, is not the same thing they use in Ghana. So you definitely still get differences. So even with such reliable medical information, it would still be advisable to visit a practitioner in your own country
Okay.
because information differs based on location.
All right.
Okay, so Deborah has said it all.
Oh, well, she didn't say oh, well. Okay.
But then the best and key information to get is from a medical practitioner. That one, there's no doubt about that. So, what is more easy and applicable for you to be speaking to a human being one on one? Even your gestures, your actions, everything you do adds up to your diagnosis.
That's true.
You
Maybe
get it?
you be acting some way, you might not have realized that you are acting like that, but when you go to the practitioner, he'll be like, you seem a bit down or
Exactly,
something.
exactly.
Wow.
Your physique, your physical look
Mm,
changes, discolorations, all of those things adds up to your diagnosis. And then when you are searching online, you might not even see that this thing that's you are experiencing is as a result of the disease. Probably you have sunken eyes and all of those. You might not see, you might just say, oh, I'm just reducing in weight. Meanwhile, it's pertaining to a disease. So the best and key information is from a medical practitioner.
okay.
But then for a bit of knowledge that you would want to know. So just like Deborah said, Medline, Medscape, PubMed,
Yeah.
WHO, these are acceptable and credible sources because it's researchers that have dived into all of these things and then they've kept their journals there. So they've done intensive research on whatever disease that is being kept there, not just mere idea of anybody or even one person. It's a cluster of researchers,
Yeah.
medical practitioners in the field who have kept their ideas that they've gathered information from we the people, not just them alone, what they think. They gathered the information from we the people and they kept it there. So these are some of the reliable sources.
All right. Shadrach.
Okay, as they said, it is good to search from a very reliable source. But one thing I also want to point out is how to search about these things. Your words, the words you use,
Yeah.
your wording. If your words you are using is not very clear, for instance, you are having this slight headache, but maybe you wouldn't know how to express this headache to the site you are working with,
Mm,
it is going to give you a different thing. So that is why she said it is best to see a physician. So after all these search, even it is right or in the actual sense, me the patient, I have to know a little about whatever I'm going through
yeah.
before I even go to the hospital, so that the physician will say, "Oh, I have made some efforts about what it is going to." So it is the duty of the physician to clarify and to rule out certain things. I was thinking, you have many options now.
Yeah.
You've sought different ideas from different sides, but you've not done anything practically. You have now gone to the hospital. So when you go there, when you when you see the physician will be like, okay, so what has brought you to the hospital? Or this and this brought me to the hospital, and per my findings and my search, these are the things I have gotten. So upon the physician's assessment, it is the duty of the physician to now rule out per what you brought. It could be that all the options you got, there's what you are feeling now is not even associated with any of them. The
Wow.
physician will tell you.
Wow.
Even if it is associated, the physician will say, "Oh, these are the things which has something to do with your current condition." But you should know. That is why you should know. So your wording is very key because you just can't go. You are feeling stomach pain. You go and type abdominal pain. Stomach is different from abdomen.
It's
So
true.
definitely the result you're going to get
It'll be
will be
different.
different,
Wow.
and you'll be there anxiously doing knowing
Wondering
and
for
worrying
like
for no reason.
I see. Wow. So now let's take it that I'm very obsessed with searching for my symptoms. Any small thing, my toenail is paining me, I'll search. My this one is paining me, I'll search. Anything, I'll search. What advice do you have for someone like me?
Okay, we are not stopping. We won't stop anyone from searching.
Mhm.
It is your right to know.
Okay.
Yes. So it is good to search. But one thing we would advise is after your search, quickly see a physician.
Mm.
Quickly rush to the hospital. Once you get to the hospital, there will be a diagnostic test, and this test will confirm whatever you're going through. Without these diagnostic tests, we can't confirm. Even the physician might see certain things that will make the physician think that, oh, these symptoms this person is showing is, I think it is this. The physician might be right though, but unless the diagnostic test is done, so the diagnostic text is the one to confirm what actually. So we are not discouraging. It is good to search to find new information about what you are going through. Yes, it is good. That is why the internet is there. But when you search, do not put any law in your hand or just do anything. Quickly see your physician. Communicate with your physician. These are my findings. What do you have to say on that? Upon assessment and reviews, the physician will also know what to do. So it is key to search, but visit the facility for proper diagnosis.
Oh. So yes, you've been mentioning go and see your physician, go and see a doctor. What if there's a situation where I'm unable to like go to the hospital and go and see the doctor or a physician? What do I do then, or what's the next step?
I think that is why our phone really helps us. You can actually call your doctor.
Mm, I see.
Yeah, you can call the doctor. Uh, One thing is that we are not the only ones who Google. I'm sure sometimes, at times, doctors also Google. But just like Shadrach said, they base their findings or their diagnosis not just on what they know, not just the knowledge, but about testing and being sure. So I know that initially when you go to the hospital, based on your symptoms, the doctor may write that okay, it may be this. But after the test, that's when he will surely tell you that this is exactly what is wrong with you. And aside going to a doctor, if you have health books, reliable health books, you can also read through it because these books contain information, proper information, just like on the internet. And so I think you can also go to that source.
All right. Any
Yeah,
other?
so to add up, you should always see the doctor because certain things like low HB, your hemoglobin level is on the low.
Mhm.
How are you supposed to know? with just mere looking at yourself.
Look at yourself and listen.
Although you would be pale,
Mm.
but paleness can also be a symptom of other things. So certain things like this, we need to do a diagnostic test before we would rule it out. That's why we advise to talk to a doctor.
Wow. So now let's look at some last few things. What are some of the things that we can do to maintain our health or to be healthy so that we can, as much as possible, reduce searching for, our symptoms online?
I think that in this world or in the world as a whole, there are basic principles which really help to prevent most of the illnesses that we encounter. So we first talk about what we eat.
Okay.
What we take into ourselves is what will turn out to be what we will become. So if you eating good, not just good food, but good healthy food, you know that it's building up your own body.
Yeah.
Aside from what you eat, what you drink, your surrounding. I mean, these are basic things around us which prevents almost every illness. You realize that even with such a big disease like COVID-19,
Mhm.
what was the most important preventive measure? Was just hand washing.
Mm.
Simple hand wash that even KG children, when you go, you actually they teach you how to wash your hand. You'd be wondering what would hand washing do, but it was one of the things which helped to prevent the spread of COVID-19. So you realize that most of the principles to help us keep our bodies healthy are simple things around us. So what ensuring that what we take in, whether eating or drinking, is good and healthy, keeping our surroundings clean, even like malaria. If your surrounding is clean, would mosquitoes be around there? Definitely not. If your surrounding is clean, there wouldn't be a risk for you even getting maybe cholera or typhoid. All of these things would be on a lower level. And then also what we breathe around us too. So if you're living in a smoky area, you know that definitely something that smoke, it
Mm.
contains chemicals and so it will go into you. So these are basic things that are around us which helps us to protect ourselves.
Okay.
All right. So to add up to what she's saying about the food aspects. Okay. So in our part of the world, we have all the nutritious food and all of that,
That's right.
but we don't eat it right. An example is eating the green leafy vegetables. For you to absorb it, you need to get vitamin C after you've eaten it. So, like you've eaten your consomme and all of that. After that, a period of time, you need to take orange or pineapple, those fruits that contain vitamin C, for you to absorb the iron nutrients in the consomme you've eaten.
Wow. I didn't know that
Yes,
too.
yes. So
Wow.
at least I've helped someone out there.
That's
Yeah,
why we are
so
here.
there was this incident that a woman came to the hospital and then she was anemic, severe anemic. And then the nurse was like, Auntie, why don't you eat well? She was like, oh, me did yeah, I eat well.
Mhm.
I eat consomme, I eat garden eggs and all of that. And I told her that you might be eating all of these things, but you're not eating it right.
Mm.
So the food.
Wow.
So and then good food doesn't mean plenty meat, plenty no. Let's add up vegetables and
It should be
everything to our
balanced.
food. Yes.
Yeah.
And then when you're eating food, you should, let's say with rice and stew. The stew has to be plenty. With fufu and soup, the soup has to be plenty.
So who said that?
The
I don't
soup
like. I
is
don't
the
like
dish.
plenty stew.
No, the stew and the soup, they are the main dish
Wow.
that you are taking. You are just complementing it with your fufu or your rice or whatever. But the soup, the stew, they are the real deal.
Wow.
So you need to take in that. And then we should, in as much, avoid fats. Fat is what is killing us these days.
Mm.
It is the root of all these heart disease, stroke, diabetes, and all of those things. enough fat is killing us.
Some food, so when they finish eating, shrimp straight to the bed.
Good. Ghanaians, we don't exercise. But exercise is exercise is not like going to the gym, lifting up metals. No, that's not the exercise we are talking about. They are bodybuilders.
Oh, okay.
But brisk walking, that is even the very good exercise we are supposed to do. Brisk walking. You don't walk haphazardly or lazy. You walk briskly. It really helps. It burns down some fats.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Shadrach.
Also, as they've said it all, but I want to add up to the human body system. There's something that we can say it will be free from illness. No, it can never. No matter what you do, you can exercise, you can eat very well, you can do everything. But because their body and systems and they are communicating to work, there can be utterances at times which may annul or alter the work of a certain part of function. So what we are trying our best is that we have things we can modify, as they've said. So the modifiable items like the diet, the exercise, the things we take in, alcohol, tobacco, even the smoking habits. These are the things we can modify.
Yeah.
So we are encouraging each and everyone that we should modify ourselves by checking our diet, exercising regularly, and also going for checkups regularly. We don't have to go to the hospital whenever we are sick. Sometimes you are working, you just meet a hospital by, you can just walk in,
Right.
let them assess you. Oh, yes, we have working services. You just go, oh, I was just passing by. Because there is one case at Shaiwo Sudoku.
Okay.
The man was just passing by, and this man he happens to be an hypertensive patient. So he was walking by, so he said he felt tired, so he went to Shai Osudoku. So when he went there, he came to the main ward
Okay.
through the OPD. He had a very high blood pressure.
Wow.
So that time, it was my very first time going to the hospital, and it was a night duty. So I overheard him saying on phone, he called his family members, telling them that, oh, due to this reason, I walked in and I've been my BP has rise, so I had to be monitored before I come home. So for this night, I won't be coming home. The man was strong enough, like I was even surprised. Moves around, communicates. Nothing is wrong with the man, but the pressure is very high, which needs to be treated before the man leaves. So
this
these
one,
are some of them.
If you went home without checking,
Yes, something would have happened. We didn't know. That's why sometimes, but not you know, maybe no more than ding. And so at the bet, now there are certain things that they don't show, or moon show. So you have to be visiting the hospital aside these exercises and diet and abstaining from alcohol and smoke. Yes, aside these things, you have to, be going to the hospital regularly. Maybe I by mistake be, now I could PA hospital be. You just go there, oh, madam nurse, I beg you, can you check my BP, my vital signs? Can you check it for me? The person will check because that is the baseline. If something is wrong with you, once the vital signs is checked, they can detect it from there and take it from there. If you are fine, you are good to go. Then you go.
Okay. Thank you all so much. Well, we are wrapping up and want to know, what are your last few words for us before we leave here?
To add up to what we've all said, I think there's one thing that I've realized that Ghanaians don't like doing: enjoyment. Yes,
Come again.
enjoyment. Yes, not just not partying, but like enjoy, relaxing. Just relax.
Okay.
We are so stressed out with getting so much money that sometimes we think that we are going out to party and all, but that's not relaxing. Sometimes you just have to enjoy relaxing. Just feel free, empty your mind, and just relax.
Take a break.
Yes. Just as you are working, you just walk out, feel the breeze, and come back. Those are some.
This one, if you got the sound of scotches. Yeah, Shadrach, any last?
Yeah, to add up to what she said, Yeah, I had it in mind saying, especially to our mothers at the market.
How?
When sika better makola. Oh, God. If you tell me, mommy, do exercise, and now they two shop and don't go anywhere. She won't. She won't. She won't. Oh, God, the be a in a mean, Cotinefina will be in Codigani in Enjami. In a is pisika on Tenefi and Homeka. Indeed, you see, Obet Nefia now obey just a yarena cannot and cannon to open never. The be so relaxing is key.
Okay. Yeah, patience.
Okay, so they've said it all. This thing they are saying, my father is a typical example. He works Monday to Sunday.
Hey.
That he rest. No, he won't.
Oh, daddy, we beg. Right?
He won't. So our health is everything to us. So in as much as we are eating well, because we have some factors you can never go away with, like aging, family history. If you are prone to certain disease, you are prone to them.
Yeah.
So we are aging, you'd be prone to certain disease. There are something you cannot do anything about. So the ones you can manage well and stay healthy.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much. So today we had Patience, Shadrach, and Debbie helping us on the topic Googling your health and symptoms. And we've realized that Googling your health and symptoms is not entirely bad. And then there are ways that we can do it right by going to credible sources, consulting a physician or a doctor, and also maintaining good health habits. Right. So yes, my own to that is maintaining good personal hygiene. Personal hygiene is also very important, and it helps prevent some diseases and some illnesses. Yeah. So on this note, we'll call it a day. We'll be looking at some security tips before we leave. Thank you for tuning in.
First of all, today we are talking about internet safety, and for today's security tip, we'll be saying that keep personal information professional and limited. So your personal information online should be all professional and it should be not everything that has to do with you. So, if it's your family and where you live and all those places, they are private information and not everybody needs to know that. So you need to keep that private. There are potential employees or customers who don't need to know your personal information um, on relationship status on your home address. And so you need to keep that for the business and your development. So it's best to have an account on stuff like LinkedIn, which only limits a certain amount of information that is very professional. So that kind of information is what we should have on our various social media platforms. So I'm just going to repeat: keep personal information professional and limited. Thank you.
Wow. And I also think that if at this point, if you have too much personal information online, I mean, it's not too late to take
Yeah.
some away. Those are not needed or those are not proper to be online. You can just take
Take
them
them
out.
down. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you very much.